Well, as far as Israeli strikes are concerned, they continue, and it's relentless operations when it comes to the southern suburbs of Beirut. And these operations have continued overnight as well. Srinjoy is with us right now. Srinjoy, good morning. The operations on part of Israeli Defense Forces, that has been continuing despite an Iranian missile attack.
Yes, that was entirely to be expected because Israel is not going to let go. And there were Hezbollah targets in southern Beirut, the southern part of Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, which were to be hit, and they were hit last night. There are reports of some attacks near Damascus in Syria. That too are areas where there is Iranian presence, there is some Hezbollah presence, so you would expect that as well. The main thing, as you rightly said, was the attack on Iran. Now, nobody knows when it will happen, where it will happen exactly, what kind of it, whether it will be military targets like airfields or whether it will be oil rigs, what it will be and how it will be. Will it be missiles? Will it be the Air Force? No one knows as yet. That's something that Israel has said they will do. But when they will do, how they will do, where they will hit, is not clearly known. There's a lot of speculation, but when the attack will be launched is something that Israel will clearly look at and then decide.
All right, Srinjoy, I request you to stay on with us because we also have been talking about how the world leaders, they have been reacting because right after Israel had to, when it comes to the ground operations that have been continuing, but when it comes to the missile attacks on part of Iran, U.S. President Joe Biden has joined a call when it comes to the leaders of the G7 to discuss Iran's attack against Israel and to coordinate a response to this attack, including when it comes to new sanctions. Now, according to the White House statement, President Biden and the G7 nations unequivocally condemned Iran's actions against Israel, where President Biden expressed the United States' full solidarity and support to Israel and its people and reaffirmed the commitment of the U.S. to Israel's security. The United States, which is also putting pressure on Iran's proxies by imposing sanctions on them. The United States, which has imposed sanctions on one individual and 3 companies that facilitate weapons procurement and smuggling operations for the Houthis. Now, the U.S. State Department saying that this action targets key procurement operatives and suppliers located in Iran and China and have ended the Houthis to acquire materials and components needed to deploy advanced missiles. Now, with this development that is now coming to light, Srinjoy, help us understand when it comes to sanctions, because this is possibly one of the areas now, without being physically in a war, it is an aim when it comes to crippling the economy of Iran.
Well, this has been an effort that has been going on for a very long time, and every effort has been made. But there are other ways that Iran manages to sell its oil. One major source of revenue, the biggest source of revenue that Iran has, is petroleum. Now, a lot of the petroleum goes to China. Now, if China is buying serious amounts of petroleum, then it becomes very difficult to impose sanctions on Iran by the West, because Iran may not be able to sell enough oil to the West, but it manages to sell to China and some other countries, Russia also. So if that happens, not Russia, China. So if that happens, then Western sanctions are not very successful. You look at how Russian oil has been coming to China and other countries. So there are loopholes here which the West may have difficulties in filling up. But there are other things there can be sanctions on. Of course, those nuclear technology sanctions are still in place, and which is perhaps why Iran may not have been able to build a nuclear weapon. But that apart, that's a very debatable point. But as far as petroleum is concerned, it is entirely possible that the Chinese may buy a large amount of Iranian oil. And if that happens, well, Western sanctions may not be entirely successful.
Global repercussions as far as if there is a full-blown war that seems to be taking place with the involvement of the United States. Please do stay on with us, Srinjoy, because as we talk about the rift in the Middle East that has gone now beyond the borders of the stakeholder nations, with looming threat of escalation, there has been global powerhouses that are also positioning themselves, resulting in mostly predictable alignments, with the world leaders now calling for restraint after Iran launched its biggest missile attack yet against Israel. However, when it comes to the reactions that have been coming in, mainly from the world leaders, let's listen in to how the world has been reacting to Iran's attack.
At my direction, the United States military actively supported the defense of Israel, and we're still assessing the impact. But based on what we know now, the attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective. And this is testament to Israeli military capability and U.S. military. It's also a testament to intensive planning between the United States and Israel to anticipate and defend against the brazen attack we expected. Make no mistake, the United States is fully supportive of Israel.
But I utterly condemn this attempt by the Iranian regime to harm innocent Israelis, to escalate this incredibly dangerous situation and push the region ever closer to the brink. Iran must stop these attacks, together with its proxies like Hezbollah.
We once again reiterate the call that we've made along with the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, Italy, Germany, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, other nations as well, calling for a de-escalation.
イランによる攻撃はこれはもう認められるものではございません。厳しくこれを非難したいと思っておりますが、これが全面戦争に拡大することがないようによく連携を取ってまいりたいし、事態の沈静化に共に努めてまいりたいと考えておるところでございます。
So let's, in the meantime, take a look how the world is positioned with this ongoing conflicts as far as the countries are concerned. Many of them have been condemning Iran. Many of them have come out to condemn and call out the actions of Israel. Let's put that out. The world, which is now said to be at war, the countries that seems to be backing Israel, of course, it is the United States of America, the United Kingdom, France, Japan, Germany, Australia, multiple leaders who had already voiced their criticism against Iran action. Let's also talk about the countries which are backing Iran now. That includes Turkey, Russia, Lebanon, Gaza, China, Yemen, all of them, as far as the countries are concerned, they have been backing as far as Iran. But neutral nations is India. And one of the most important dealings as far as India and its position and its responsibility is also concerned, being a world leader also, Srinjoy, we also talk about when it comes to India's position. We have seen that whether be it the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Prime Minister Modi has a healthy and of course the conversations that he has with both the leaders of Russia and Ukraine. Similarly, when it comes to the ongoing conflict with Israel and also what happened with Gaza and now with Iran as well, India also has its interests there.
Yes, the point here is that India, Jaishankar has said this, that India has long civilization ties with Iran. About that, there is no doubt. India has said this. India also has a very, very close relationship with Israel. India is a strategic partner. About that, there is no doubt. So India has said that, yes, India can help. He has used the word communicate, that if there is need to send messages across by either side in the hope that it will lead to some kind of ceasefire, India is ready to do it. But the question is, are people ready at this point?
Right.
That is the question which has to be answered. So that is the difference. Is everyone ready for a ceasefire? That is the question that Israel, all the countries in the area will have to look.
All right. Srinjoy, thank you very much for the moment for joining in. Of course, Srinjoy will continue to get us the details that have been coming in as far as the geopolitical situation there is concerned. But talking about India also being a world power, keeping its position very, very clear that India is the one that actually positions itself when it comes to seeking peace. Prime Minister Modi has made it clear on many occasions that war is not the answer. With that, we head into a short break. Times Now continues to get you more news and updates on the other side.